Hello everyone, welcome to another video for my channel Automation Hub Sathak. We'll continue with the Java playlist, and today's topic is of very prime importance, at least in terms of interview perspective. And today we learn about concatenation in Java, especially for the data types. People tend to use for strings, but it does work for all the four, and you'll see the certain difference, the subtlety and the complexity of it. And you know what, this video will be very important in terms of interview, and people will tend to confuse you. Be very careful with that. And there will be a lot of questions in some interviews. What happens is people will tend to confuse you by giving you outputs which will look very similar, but unless you are absolutely thorough, you will not be able to smile. So let's understand this video thoroughly, and then you can get back to getting that smile with this interview. Okay, now let me go back to my clips. Okay, I have created a Java class, concatenation in Java, and that's it. So first of all, let me tell you what concatenation is. Okay, so concatenation in Java is nothing but operation of joining. I will not use the word addition here because strings are not supposed to be added. Maybe integers can be. So as of now, we'll see we're joining something. And what do we basically use? To join, we use this operator, the plus symbol. Okay, so let's begin. We'll first start with int. So let me declare an integer I is equal to 100. Okay, I'll declare another integer j equal to 200. Now I will concatenate it. I will not use the term add. I will concatenate I and j. So I have concatenated them. See, the output is 300. 100 plus 200 is 300. Now let me do something different. Let me add another integer here. Int k is equal to 300. Okay, so if I introduce k here within the concatenation scheme of things, now the output should be 100 plus 200 plus 300, right? So let's see. Output looks fine. 100 plus 200 plus 300 is equal to 600. Now let's move on. We will see about strings. Okay, let me put a demarcation line here. Okay, this is another way of marking the comments. I'll tell you later about this. It's just that I want to put a demarcation line. This so doesn't mean much, so don't get confused. Okay, let me create a string. So string s1 is, let's say, hello. Okay, now we'll use string s2 world. Okay, now let me concatenate these two strings here, s1 s2. So what will be the output? The output will be hello world. See, if you do not want to use this is generally for a comment section, so I've just used as a demarcation line. See, so the demarcation says here, now the output here is hello world. Let's say, for example, I add another string here, string s3 universe. And I will introduce this as well. So the output will be hello world universe. So our output looks absolutely fine. Now there is something which I need to tell you, which will be a little important here. Okay, please listen to me very carefully. Now you have the value of I, the value of j, the value of k here. You have not changed them. Once you have instantiated, you have kept the same, you have not changed. Similarly, all these three also remain valid. Let's say, for example, I want to concatenate all these 6 different variables. So let me go ahead and do it. Now look at this. I, J, K, S1, S2, S3. So what should be the value here? As per the calculation, it should be 600 IJK S1 hello, S2 world and S3 universe. So the output looks absolutely fine here. Let me do a special thing now. Let me change it. I will add these, not sorry, I should not use the word add. I will concatenate S1, S2, S3 followed by I, J, K. Now, what difference will we get to see? Can you see the difference, guys? It takes 100, 200, 300. Why is this change? Why is this change? So typically what everyone will think, okay, we are just switching off these three places here and moving it to here. So the output should be hello world, universe and 600. No. So what happens is, since S1, S2 and S3 are strings, right? So these three will remain intact whether you put it anywhere. These strings will remain intact. But when it comes to integers, if integers are added in the first section, then they will add up. But here what happens is, once these three things are concatenated, now what will happen is this 4 will come into picture. Okay, so the value of I is 100, so 100 is added here. Then with this one will be added, value of 200. So hello world universe 100 will be followed by 200, and then this will be followed by k, which is the value of value of k, which is 300. So technically these three will not add up. Now you want to add this up. So what should you do? So the best thing is, you mark them, you give separate parentheses for them. Okay, so now I, J, K. Can you see this? So what will be the output here? S1, S2, S3 will remain hello world universe, and I, J, K being integers within parenthesis, this will take a precedence first. So this will become 600, and then that 600 value will be concatenated with S1, S2 and S3. So here the value will be hello world universe 600. So let's have a look. Let's run the output. See? So this is where the interviewers will confuse you using the parenthesis, and concatenating the values of integers after strings, and this is before string, this is concatenation after string, this is within parenthesis. So typically these things are these things come in interview and people tend to get confused. Now there is one more thing which I need to tell. If you remember, I did tell you that you cannot declare the same data type with the same name again. Like, let's say for example, I will write string s3 is equal to earth. This will not work because S3 is already instantiated with universe. Java doesn't allow this, but I did tell you that you can change the value. So now onwards, S3 will be taken as earth. So all the output will change with respect to earth. See, because you have changed the value of S3 from universe to earth. So this is how it will work. So they will introduce something like, they will just give you a question, okay, this is it, and they will also give you these things, and then they will give the output, and they will give you options wherein this particular output earth will be not mentioned and universe will be mentioned, and you will just skip it. So be very careful. Whatever is the latest instantiation of that particular data type, that particular variable, that should be the one which will be in the output console. So be very careful with these small concepts. Okay. Now let us work something wonderful with char. Okay, I'll just blank this output. Now let's go to char. So let's see, char C1 is equal to, let's say for example, A. I told you in the previous video for data types that character can have just char data type will just have only one character, whether it is an integer or it is an alphabet, doesn't matter, but it cannot have more than one parameter, and it cannot be, anyways, it cannot be anything other than this. Now let's say for example, can char have a special character? Let's find out. Yes, it can have. Okay, now let's do one thing. Let us do the concatenation of C1, C2 and C3. Let's try with C1 and C2 first. C1 concatenated, C1 concatenated with C2. You will you will be amazed to know that the value of C1 and C2 will not be what you're expecting. You'll be expecting something else. As of now, you'll be expecting, okay, this should be A1. Your expectation should be A1, right? But it will not be A1. Let's see. Okay, I didn't save it. See, it is 145 because it takes, for character, it takes the ASCII value. Okay, so you can Google and see what are the ASCII values for characters in Java. You can do that. This is just an example, because in interview they will give you this and they'll confuse you and you'll write A1, which is not the answer. Okay, now let's say for example, I will put here C1, C2 and C3. Okay, I've saved it. Let's run this particular. See, the value is 272. It is strange that the value keeps on changing because the ASCII value of this particular symbol is different. So you'll have to be very careful with this as well. Now there is something which I'll tell you which is even more astonishing, and let's go to Boolean. Okay, so let's do with the Boolean data type, and I'll remove this output console. Boolean B1 is true, of course. Boolean B2 is false. Okay, now can I concatenate Boolean values directly? Can I do that? If I write B1 plus B2, will it work? Let's see. The answer is no, it will not work, because you cannot use the operator of concatenation for the argument type Boolean like this. It will not work. Just imagine the situation. How can you concatenate true and false? This is an absurd combination, right? You cannot do that. So Java does not allow this. Okay, so you cannot have this. So I'm marking it as a comment section. Okay, now this could be an interview question. So what will happen is generally people will write, okay, true, false. This is a wrong answer, because I have seen some interviewers confusing youngsters like this, because this doesn't work. So you please practice this, and once you do this, you will be absolutely fine, because this does not exist. B1 plus B2, you cannot concatenate Boolean values. Now let's try something very special again. Now let's move on to double. Keyboard is misbehaving again. So double D1, let's say 100.24. Okay, double D2, 21.12. Okay, now if I do the SISO the concatenation for these two double variables for the data type double, it will work. It will not act like the boolean. It will work. Okay. Now your expectation here would be d1 d2 would be 121.36. Let's see if the answer is, our expectation is 121.36. That should be the answer, right? Let's see. Exactly. So now the answer is 36. Now let's do one thing. I will change the value of this to, let's say, 24.21, and I will change the value here to 100.12. So what should be the output here? What should be the expectation now? Now the expectation should be 124.33. Am I correct? 21 and 12, 33. 24 and 100, 124.33. Let's see if this is what we are expecting, right? Let's see if the output is the same. The output is not the same. There is a trick to it. And why this is? This is something which is very funny. Okay, the funny part is with the number, with the decimal, after decimal, the digits 1, 2 plays a different kind of a role here. So let's say, for example, we'll try with some other numbers here. I'll also make this as 100. Okay, I'll make it 100. So typically our expectation should be 200.33. Okay, 200.33. Let's see, but it'll not show this. So there is something with the number 1, 2 after decimal for characters. I need to look into Google and see why it is. But when it comes to exact, it works. Let's say I will make this 99. Okay, this will work. See, it is 199.24, but the moment I make it like 24, this gives a different output value. See, it changes all of a sudden. It goes till the 12th digit after decimal. So this is kind of a homework for you. Okay, you can find out from Google why it behaves like this. I'll leave it to you as a homework. Of course, people will confuse you with this. So, what is the significance of the number 12 after decimal, and why it is behaving like this sometimes? And I have not seen with 99. Let's see. Okay, we just saw with 99, I guess it was working fine. But when it comes to number 24, the value is something different. So we have to have a good knowledge about the ASCII value of it. Now, if it is number 12, it is showing again. So there is certain catch to it. Of course, you can learn more about it and get to know about why for characters there is such funny behavior and why the concatenation is behaving so differently. Now, let's do one thing. We have how many variables we have declared? We have I, we have j, we have k, we have s1, s2, s3, we have c1, c2, c3, we have b1, b2, we have d1, d2. Let's do one thing. Let's concatenate them all together. How about that? Okay, let's start with I, j, k first. Okay, I, j, k. Then we had, I guess, s1, we had s2, and we had s3, and then we had, okay, we had c1, c2, c3, c1, c2, we have c3, and then we had b1 as well as b2, and we have d1 and d2. So now let us concatenate everything and we'll see what the output is. See here, 600, of course, I, J, K is concatenated as integers and you get the value 600. S1, S2, S3, because these are strings, so they'll just concatenate with the exact string values. Here, C1 has A1 and this special symbol, okay, A1 and the special symbol here. Then Boolean B1 and B2. Okay, now you will get confused here because you said ki B1 and B2 here could not be concatenated, and this statement I have already mentioned as this is a wrong answer. Then why is it happening here, and am I contradicting my own statement? No, I'll explain this. That is why I'm telling you this. Now we have D1 and D2. Yes, D1 and D2 is working fine with. See, can you see here? It is taking D1. What is D1 here? The value of D1, 12.12. So 12.12 comes here. Now the value of D2. D2 is 100.12. So 100.12 comes here. Now first I'll explain the B1 and B2 confusion here. Here B1 and B2. Why is it taking true false? Okay. Now I'll show you the same. I'll clear your doubts here. We'll concatenate the same thing again, but in a different style now. I'll paste this thing here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put parenthesis for each of these. Now, if I put parenthesis for B1 and B2, this will not work. See, it is not allowing. That means two boolean this operator cannot be for the type boolean. You cannot put them together. This is what signifies here. But in this case, B1 is getting concatenated with this whole thing, followed by B2. After B2 is getting concatenated with this thing. So typically they are independent. Here what happens is B1 and B2 becomes one entity. So this is not allowable in Java. That is the difference. I hope now your doubts are clear. So I'll remove this. Now in this case we had D1. If you go to the previous print statement, here the value of D1 is mentioned as 12.12. You can see the output, and here D2 is concatenated with 100.12. But in this case, in this print statement, D1 and D2 will have a different value because here D1 and D2 will be concatenated as one entity. So let's see the difference in the output. See here. So if you remember, D1 and D2 here in this print statement had this value. So this value comes in here. So now you understand the beauty of concatenation, the complexity part of it, and where people will confuse you. If you watch the whole video, I have told you almost everything about concatenation and how people and where people will confuse you, the interviewers. So the only thing, see, these for characters, people do not ask. They don't tend to ask because everyone doesn't have the complete knowledge of ASCII values, and no one will remember this as well. This is not humanly possible to remember everything. You know, all the digits having what sort of values. Some you may not. So that's why I've given you as a homework. And this thing also, why is it misbehaving? It's not misbehaving actually. Why the number decimal number 12 after decimal has a different kind of a behavior? So you can find this out. Of course, this has never been an interview question, but people will, you never know, people might tend to confuse you as well. So better be prepared. Okay, I hope you liked this session of concatenation, and this is very very important, and this is also very very important in Selenium perspective, because in Selenium also you will get to add a lot of concatenate a lot of strings and other things as well. Mostly you'll be working with strings, but you never know, you might be working with some other data types as well. So I hope you enjoyed this session, and I hope certain doubts were clear. And if you have any doubts, please reach out to me in the comment section. I'll definitely respond to them. Thank you so much. I'm signing off. Please subscribe to my channel, uh, Automation Hub Sathak, and please click on the bell icon to receive further videos. So the next topic, I will definitely work with if-else statements, and we'll go for the loop concepts. Thank you so much. Signing off.